Today I'm going to show you a quick series of exercises that are going to help you out with your shoulders. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's Blake Bowman here with GuerrillaZen Fitness, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a couple exercises that are going to help you out with your shoulders big time. To begin, the shoulder joint is one of the most complicated joints in the body because it's a ball and socket joint and it's capable of moving in a lot of different directions. It's a lot more mobile than other joints, let's say like the knee, and because of that, that extra mobility makes it a little bit more prone and susceptible to injury. Now, there are a variety of causes of shoulder pain and dysfunction, and I've made a lot of videos in the last couple of years here on YouTube talking about those specific issues, but today I want to talk about a more broad, more sweeping issue that can cause those specific issues that I haven't really touched on a lot. So this is one specific problem that just wreaks havoc not only on the shoulders, but it can do that to the lower back and the neck as well. What is that problem, you ask? It's the thoracic spine and lack of mobility in it, okay? The thoracic spine is basically your upper back, right? So thoracic spine is the segment of your spine from the base of your neck down to about like right here. That area of the spine tends to become very stiff in people, especially if you're, working at a desk all day, you're hunched over. The spine itself, literally the spinal column, will become stiff and it will lose its ability to move, also known as mobility. Now you might be wondering what the back has to do with the shoulders, and what I want you to think about and imagine and see in your mind is think about the upper back and the thoracic spine as the supporting framework for the shoulders, okay? The shoulders and the shoulder blades, the scapula, rest on the thoracic spine, okay? And the thoracic spine has to have mobility. It has to be able to move around naturally. It's supposed to be able to, but like I said, in many people it becomes stiff. And the reason how this affects your shoulders is when you're moving your arms, okay, and especially when you're doing things overhead, you're supposed to get motion coupled from the thoracic spine, your upper back, as well as from your shoulders. They're supposed to kind of move together. Motion should be occurring in both of those areas simultaneously. But if your thoracic spine is stiff, it's obviously not moving, and what this causes is it causes your shoulders to develop what's called compensation patterns. So basically, if you're trying to put your arm overhead, you still need to be able to do that. So your body will allow you to do that, but your arm bone and your scapula, your shoulder blades, they will not be moving properly, okay? They'll be moving in a misaligned, what's called a pathologic way, which means it's moving bad, right? And over time, what this can do is it can lead to dysfunction and injury in the shoulder. This can lead to all sorts of different issues like rotator cuff problems, shoulder impingement, bursitis, etc. So just remember this, if you have an issue with your shoulders or you have an issue with your lower back, it's typically not the fault of the shoulders or lower back, it's the thoracic spine, right? So basically, you need to direct, everybody always wants to focus on the shoulders when they have shoulder problems, right? They want to look at the shoulder itself, the area that hurts, okay? But that might be a little misguided, okay? Because of the reasons I just explained. So if you're having shoulder issues, or if you're wanting to avoid shoulder issues in the first place, I highly encourage you to look at the mobility of your thoracic spine instead. So that begs the question, how do you fix this area? How do you improve the mobility of the thoracic spine? Well, you bring more mobility to the thoracic spine by doing special exercises called thoracic mobilizations. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you 3 really good thoracic spine mobilizations. What these will do is they will basically produce motion in the upper back, and over time, when you do these through a lot of repetitions, it will make the upper back more prone to motion in the future. It will make it a little bit more loose, a little bit less stiff, so that it's actually able to move around. Now, before I show you these, I want you to remember and put this phrase in your head and see these words in your mind's eye. Motion is lotion, okay? These exercises that I'm going to be showing you, aside from one is going to be a stretch, but these exercises for the most part are not stretches, okay? You don't want to hold these as a stretch, except for one that I'll show you. The ones with the foam rollers, you do not want to hold these as a stretch because basically, in order to bring more mobility to the spine, or any joint that you're trying to mobilize for that matter, you need to actually just be moving it around. Motion is lotion, okay? So you're not holding it like a stretch for a prolonged period of time. You're literally just doing reps. It's all about repetition and volume. It's not about holding it as a stretch. So just keep that in mind. Here are the 3 exercises. Okay, so for these first 2 mobilizations, you're going to need a foam roller, okay? Any kind of foam roller will work. You're looking for one with approximately a 5-inch diameter. Longer ones can work. You know, ones that are 100% foam can work too. It doesn't need to be like this. It can be any kind of foam roller. But basically, you're going to start by putting the foam roller down on the ground, okay? You're going to put it on the ground and you're going to lean back on it after being seated on the floor, okay? You're going to start by putting the roller right at the top of your shoulder blades. You're going to lace your fingers and put them behind your head, okay? Actually, you're going to kind of support your neck and you're going to draw your elbows together. From here, what you're going to do is you're simply going to relax and let your back bend over the roller, and then you're going to come back up. Okay? You're going to do this about 5 times. Okay? We're trying to produce motion in the upper back. Remember that. We're just pumping up and down. And then we're going to move down like an inch, and we're going to do 5 more reps. Okay? After 5 reps there, we're going to move down another inch. 5 more reps. Okay, you're going to continuously do this pumping up and down motion. 5 reps, move down an inch, all the way until you're at like right in the mid back. Okay, like right here. I wouldn't go any lower than this. Do not do this down low on the low back. Okay, stop right here and then maybe work your way back up by going 5 reps and then moving up an inch, okay? This is really gonna add a lot of extension to your mobility in your thoracic spine. You're gonna be able to lift your chest a lot more, okay? So basically with that, I'm not gonna give you a rep range. Start at the top, work down to the mid back, and then come back up. 5 reps and then move down or up an inch, okay? Motion is lotion. What you wanna make sure you're not doing when you're doing that though, really quick, I wanted to make note of this. You want to make sure that you're not arching from your lower back, okay? If you're arching from your lower back, then we're gonna be mobilizing the lumbar spine, which is not good. We're trying to mobilize the thoracic spine. So we're basically just using the foam roller as a fulcrum to get your spine to like bend across it, right? So basically, when you're doing this, make sure that your core is a little bit squeezed, okay? Because you don't want to be sticking your belly forward, arching from the lower back, okay? Really emphasize motion in the upper back. And don't sacrifice the health of your lower back by arching there just to go back further, right? Like, this is not a contest to see how far you can go back, okay? You're simply just trying to get your upper back to bend over the foam roller, right where the foam roller is coming in contact with your upper back, because that is the area that we're trying to mobilize. And yeah, so basically just stay away from the lower back. Make sure you're not doing this on the lower back. All right, so now we're going to get into something called a clam, okay? So we just mobilized into extension and flexion, but now we're going to mobilize into rotation. So we improved your mobility in your thoracic spine in order to lift and like round like this, but now we're going to improve its ability to twist, to rotate, okay? And basically to do that, one way that I like to do this, lay on your side, okay? Rest your head on your bicep, put a foam roller in between your knees and pinch it, okay? It's important that you pinch it, and it's important that your knees stay on top of each other here, okay? Your head is kind of resting on your bicep. You're starting with your hands together. You're gonna pull your hand in like you're drawing like a bow and arrow, okay? And then you're gonna simply twist and like twist your upper back like this, and then come back, okay? Again, repetitions here. What you want to make sure you're doing is you want to make sure this top leg is staying on top of the other knee. You don't want it to drift back like this, okay? Make sure it stays on top. Squeeze it with your knees, and then pull the bow across and come down like this, okay? Now, a couple common mistakes that people make when they're doing that. People tell me all the time that this bothers their shoulder, okay? Again, this is not a contest to see how far you can twist. If you're not able to go as far as I was, it's probably because you're very stiff there. Don't sacrifice your shoulder by taking your shoulder back like this and letting your arm bone drift forward. That's just going to aggravate your shoulder. Allow your body to twist from the spinal level, okay? And don't force it either. If the mobility is not there, forcing repetitions is not going to make it come any quicker, because motion is lotion. It's all about volume of repetitions, the sheer amount of repetitions that you're doing. So if it feels like you're not able to go down as far as you want to, just keep doing this exercise. Do it for more reps, and that's where your mobility is going to come from, okay? So make sure that your knees are staying on top of each other. Make sure that you're not, competing with yourself to see how far back you can go, and emphasize repetitions for this. Sometimes I'll do 50 repetitions of this, sometimes even more. Whatever you do, make sure that you do an equal amount of reps on both sides. So I actually made a video about this last week, and this one is kind of weird because it's actually a stretch and a thoracic spine mobilization all in one. So this is one where you actually do want to hold it as a stretch because it is a stretch combined with a thoracic spine mobility exercise. So basically this one you do want to hold. This is not about repetitions. I'd recommend you do about 5 sets of 10 of this. But basically to set up for it, you put your elbows like this. You're going to keep your back in a neutral position. Okay. You're going to put your hands together like this, drop down, and you're going to drive your elbows down into the bench from this position as though you're trying to like pull them down like this, okay? But the bench is blocking, obviously, okay? So when you're in this position, activate your muscles, push down the elbows. They're not really going to move though because the bench is blocking. Push down, push down, push down, and then you're going to relax and let the chest sink down deeper, okay? You're basically going to do that for about 5 rounds. So you're going to push down, push down, push down, relax. Boom. Your thoracic spine is going to extend, your lats are going to stretch, and this is going to help you improve your overhead mobility. I can guarantee you pretty much whatever you have going on with your shoulders, this exercise is going to help with that as well. So do about 5 sets of 10-second muscle contractions, so flex for 10 seconds and then relax for about 20 seconds. And then stay in that new position, contract, flex 10 seconds, relax, come into a new position. Each time you do that is 1 set. I recommend doing about 5 sets. There you have it. Incorporate these exercises into your routine. Not only are they likely going to help you resolve any kind of shoulder issues that you have going on, regardless of what they are. They might just be overhead mobility problems or anything like that. Incorporate these in there. And they're great for that. And basically, even if you're somebody that does not have shoulder problems, but you're somebody that like sits all day, you're working at a desk and you're active and you're an athlete and you want to avoid shoulder problems, okay? This is a great exercise for you to do as well. I do these all the time as a part of my regular routine. They're in my warm-up sequence. Not that I have shoulder problems anymore. I fixed myself, but I don't want them to come back, so I always make sure that my thoracic spine is staying nice and mobile. Now, if you want to take this a step further and make sure that you're really bulletproofing your shoulders, then I put together a workout that contains 3 exercises, and basically these exercises will improve something called joint centration of the shoulder, okay? They basically, in a nutshell, will bulletproof your shoulder from injury and make it so that they're a lot more aligned so that you can avoid injury or at least reduce your chance of injury dramatically moving into the future. This shoulder workout synergizes very well with the thoracic exercises that I showed you in this video today. Now, if you want that workout, all I want you to do is open up the description down below, click the link in the description there, the first one available. What that will do is it'll take you to my website where I'll ask you for your email. As soon as you enter in your email, I'll send you straight over to the shoulder workout. Now, if you're watching this on mobile and it was hard to open up the description, then you can get to that same page right here by clicking this button. Don't forget to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet over here. And if you want to see more videos about the shoulders, I've made a lot about this, then check out this video right over here. Other than that, I'll see you next time.